So this is our today's circuit where we will first see what happens because of single staging. Then we will see the frequency response, and then we'll try to measure input impedance, output impedance, and things like that, and then we'll go on. Soham, you have not entered the value of RD. RD is 5 kilo ohms.
Okay.
Come on. Come on, do this quickly. I want everyone to do this fast. First, we will all be on the same page. First, we will build the circuit. Okay. Now here you can name this node as V in, and this as V out, for simplicity's sake. Sama, your output is correct, but while taking V out, you will have to now take it from here. Did you understand, Sama? And remove this. Body and source are not connected. If you connect body to the source, then body is not connected to zero potential. The voltage that you are applying at the body is whatever is the voltage across RS. And somewhere here also the other side of the AC signal is floating. Did you get it? Samay, did you get it? Okay. Sayan, I am going through your circuit. Okay, it looks fine. Good. Okay, Riddhi, your output is also correct. Now, one thing we all should note here that we have made the circuit, but if you like just try to run this, it will not run because we have not given the dot model. We have not assigned any threshold voltage. We have not assigned any Kn value to this MOSFET. So now comes the assignment. So I'll write here dot model So what is the name? NMOS. Now, what is the threshold voltage? VTO is equal to 0.4 volts. Then, the SPICE directive, Kn and Kp is always written as Kp only. So, Kp is equal to 1e raised to minus 3. What is the meaning of this? That is, it is 10 raised to minus 3, that is 1 milliampere. Now, here Kn is given to us as 1 milliampere, but here it will be taken as Kn by 2. So what is the meaning of that? Roughly I have already told you that, but let me explain it to you again. So first we will write like this. Just put it here. L is 10 micron. Please write like this first. I'll tell you why. So first do the model assignment and put this circuit in the chat box. Okay. So why it is in this state is our question. So let's have a look at that. Let's go to this problem itself. So what is given in the problems generally is something like this. So here when we will do problem, or I'll say theory. So when you are solving something, a problem in a theory class, Kn is given as, let's say, 1 milliampere per volt square. So what is the equation for ID? ID is equal to Kn into 1 minus, VGS minus VTn the whole square. And this Kn is substituted here. But actually for a SPICE thing, or SPICE, when you say Kn is equal to 1 milliampere per volt square, SPICE is using this equation. This is mu n COX by 2 W by L into VGS minus VTn the whole square. Now here ID is going to be Kn by 2 into VGS minus VTn the whole square. So when we have solved the problem, this 1 milliampere was 1 milliampere per volt square itself. But when you actually write Kn equal to 1 milliampere per volt square, what will happen is that it will take this Kn as 1 milliampere per volt square and it will divide it by 2. So actually this will be, here it will be taken as 1 milliampere per volt square into VGS minus VTn the whole square, whereas here it will be taken as 0.5 milliamperes per volt square into VGS minus VTN the whole square. So if SPICE is doing this, then what we will do, we will keep this width, we will keep width twice of length. We will keep the width twice of length. That means if that is the W by L ratio will be 2 by 1. So what will happen is, now if this ratio W by L inside becomes 2 by 1, it cancels out this 2, and whatever Kn you are having here is taken as it is inside the problem. So that is the reason why you can see here Kp, whatever value of Kn is given to us, we have written it as it is, but SPICE should take it in a proper way. That is why my width I have kept twice of length. Now somebody may ask me, can I keep 200 microns and L as 100 microns? Answer is yes. As long as you maintain the ratio, absolutely no problem. If you say 200 nanometers and 10 nanometers, absolutely okay. As long as the ratio is 2, no problem. So this is the reason why that W by L ratio is kept as 2, because SPICE takes this value of Kn in a slightly different manner. Okay. Now let's try and simulate this thing. So you can just say stop time as let's go here, go to AC analysis, decade. Here you can write points and see, you can take it as 1 Hertz. So once you simulate this thing, what you can see here is, this is going to be like your frequency response. Okay. So this is like your ideal response actually. There is some low frequency value, you get a lower slope, but you don't get a higher slope. Now what is the reason for that? The reason for that is that we have not accounted for two capacitances. Are the inter-electrode capacitances. These capacitances are the inter-electrode capacitances. Now this capacitance, in theory we have seen that in practice, because of some overlap between the gate and the drain and gate and the source, there is going to be a small capacitance on both the sides. So this capacitance is called as CGD, that is gate drain capacitance, and this capacitance is called as CGS. And here the value of CGD and CGS is somewhat in this range, so you can keep it as 0.2 picofarads, and here you can keep it as, let's say, 20. Now we are entering these values in the simulation because we want to actually vary this and check how my high frequency response gets affected. Okay, so first you will put this two capacitors here and then simulate. So basically if you don't have anything, then you get this response, but this is like a complete capacitance model of the amplifier. Ci C0 and Cs, like I told you, affect the low frequency response. So I'm talking about this. Ci, C0 and Cs are responsible for this fall in gain at low frequency, and CGS and CGD are responsible for the fall in gain at high frequency. Now since earlier we had not included them, that is why we did not get a fall at high frequency. But now since you have included them, we will see something. So these capacitances are inter-electrode capacitances. In an ideal case, you will not be able to change them, but yes, we can determine what their value should be so that my high frequency graph is in a proper range. So I want you all to first put these two capacitances, how I have named, exactly in the same way you will name, and post it in the chat box. Now I will simulate this thing. So you can see there is a small fall in the value. Keep both equal. You can see there is again a small fall in the value of the gain. So what this means is that if it becomes bigger and bigger, if this value becomes bigger, if I make it like to 200 picofarads, and if I make this also as 200 picofarads, let's say, what is the change? So you can see that this happens now earlier. Okay, so the bandwidth is going to reduce. So this should be as small as possible. Let's make it as 20. Let's make this as 20. And then simulate this. So now you can see that initially the fall was at 100 kilohertz. Now it has gone to about around 1 megahertz. Yeah. No, simulate it again. Rohan, make both values as 20 picofarads.
Yes, sir, I did it.
So now I want to see the circuit as well as the graph in this way. And remove that phase plot. Right click here and say don't plot phase. Okay, Riddhi, your graph is correct. So please plot this together. So हम remove that phase plot.
So the option is not coming for me in the graph.
No, why? See here, I'll show you. I'll simulate this. You click here. Now you can see both. So now here you should go on this extreme right. You can see a ruler. Now you right click and then say don't plot phase.
Okay.
Okay. Now we have plotted this, but now we want to see whether the gain is really what we are expecting or not. So let's do some measurements, and once you click on V out, you should be able to see or move this graph, and you should see that the value here is 6.7528 dBs. So let's see whether it's in our range or not. So the value of gain in dB is 6.752. So what is the meaning of this? The value of gain in dB is 6.752 means 6.752 is equal to 20 log of voltage gain to the base 10. So now if you divide this 6.752 by 20, and this is log of 10 AV, you can find out what is the value of AV. Can somebody quickly tell me what is the value of AV? Yes. Can somebody quickly tell me what is the value of AV? So if you want to like not recalculate that, I'll make this scale as linear. See, I'm making this linear. Okay. And I will get the value of the gain, that is 2.177234. Did you get it or not what I did? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So every now and then you should not calculate. You can just do it, see it from the graph itself. So again, I'm just putting everything in dB. Now why we are plotting in dB? Because we have to calculate bandwidth. So we have to arrive at a 3 dB point, and that 3 dB point is going to be crucial for us. So that's why we are plotting in dB. So everybody got that 2.175. So let me just note it down, 2.17570. And was my calculated gain also in that same range? Yeah, so that was pretty much very close to what we have calculated. So that means our calculation is correct, our whatever I taught you in class is correct, and we can go ahead with this thing. So now my question to you all is that if the values of CGS increases, the bandwidth increases or decreases? If the value of CGS and CGD increases, the bandwidth will increase or decrease? So do this, increase the value of CGD and CGS and check what happens to the bandwidth. Increase these values and check. So now I don't want to, like, keep on measuring like this. It's a very funny way. Uh, but we want to do it by using some command. So first line that I am writing here is measure gain, which is the max value in the magnitude plot, which is plotted using the value V out. Then measure the 3 dB value. Okay, at that point where the gain is square root of the maximum gain. And then if this happens twice, then note down the rising point and the falling point. So these are the commands to measure the gain automatically. Now how to do this? First see this. What I'll do is, I'll, for your sake, if your and my naming is exactly the same, then this will work. I'm putting this in the chat box. Okay, I've put these commands in the chat box. Now here what does this do? It will again plot, no problem. Plotting wise everything will be the same. But now if you go to view and see the spice error log, in this you can see gain. Maximum value of gain is 6.75871. So like this you can see. And the gain ranges from 1 to some 10 megahertz. Okay. The 3 dB value, see here, the 3 dB value is 3.74, means 6.758 minus 3 is this value. Okay, and the bandwidth is from 3.3, how much it is, 3.399 to 10 raised to 6 means megahertz. And what is the lower cutoff? 22.0745 hertz. And here this is the maximum value, 3.13994 megahertz. So now by actually going to this graph or doing a measurement like this, so go to 3 dB below this, like this, somewhere here, and measuring the value of gain, you just write a command to exactly go at that point and measure the value. So because what happens is, when you try to do this manually, your measurement will have an error, because nobody's hand is so stable that you will exactly reach at that point. And even if you reach, by the time you reach there, lot of time would have passed by. So I want you all to first show me this circuit with these commands, and then simulate this and show me the graph as well as the SPICE error log. So I want to see this like this. I should see circuit as well as the values. Yes. Good, Rohan, very good. So these commands will help you to measure the gain very accurately. Okay. So you have to remember in signal analysis you should know these commands. Even if you know one or two circuits less, it is okay, but you should know what should be done in circuit analysis, how to analyze a given circuit and declare whether it's good, bad or not. So you should know those parameters. So gain, lower cutoff frequency, higher cutoff frequency and bandwidth are the measures of an amplifier. Okay, they are the testimony of how good an amplifier is, and you should know that. You can also see the Fourier of this. So you can see the FFT of V out. So you have to run a dot AC analysis for that. Dot tran analysis. Sorry. So just for the time being, I'm just saving this as file save as, and I'm just renaming it as underscore tran. That means I'm trying to do a transient analysis now to show you that generally we apply sine signals and like that. So you can apply a sinusoidal signal here of maybe 100 millivolts and 50 millivolts, and frequency can be 1 kilohertz, and you can still run this dot transient. So you can just write here 2 milliseconds, and this is your input, you can see that, and what you have here is your output. So you can see this is a little over 100, this is 50, this is a little over 100, so the gain is 2.17. so sinusoidally also it satisfies the. So generally you would see this in the lab. Okay, when you go to the lab you will connect the input and the output and see this on the DSO or the CRO screen, and the CRO doesn't have these functions to automatically calculate the maximum and the minimum amplitudes, but a DSO can. So you can write a function in the DSO, show me V out by V in, it will show you V out by V in, and that is going to be your gain. So this is what it is. So now you will simulate this circuit using the transient analysis using the .tran command. So this is the .tran command. I will just show that to you. Now I want .tran. Okay. So we have used so many commands here. We have used .ac, you have used .tran, you have used .measure. Okay. And of course, without .model, you will not be able to go ahead at all. So show me the circuit as well as this. And you can see when I write .tran, you can see here it gives an error here. Gain failed, value 3B failed, bandwidth failed. Why? Because this .measure command doesn't work with a .tran command. It works only with the .ac command. Okay, so I wanted you to see this. Otherwise, you will put all your efforts on a .tran file and you will not get anything. So I want you to show me this, that gain is, you will not be able to calculate gain when you are using .tran. You will be able to use the .measure command only when you are using .ac analysis. Okay, so I'm good. What about the SPICE error logs? So those who want to see the circuit, it is this way. So in this case, I want to see that it has failed, just to make you understand that .measure doesn't work with .tran. Now this is what you have to actually learn. Okay, the CS amplifier is okay. I mean, we have already calculated and we know the expected values. But using this command is slightly more important. So I'm just closing this file. Okay, good, Tanvi, very good. I hope you are enjoying my lab sessions. Just enjoy it. Don't take too much of stress, but just try to understand the intricate details of what we are doing. Okay? If any one tool also you know very well, no? That will be like a very big advantage for you later. So what I'm doing here now is I'll just, this was the .tran, so the same file I'll save it as RI. So I want to measure now input resistance RI. So what I'll do here is I'll click on this. I'll say here none. AC amplitude is 1, phase is 0. Okay, I'll write like this. And instead of Vs, I will write here as V test. So what we do, we apply a test voltage source, right? And here instead of V in, I'll write V test. Okay. Now once you do this, what you are actually doing is you are applying a test voltage source. So a test current will flow through the input side, and now we want to measure the resistance. So here I'll just change back from dot tran to dot AC. I'll just go back to decade. Next, what we had written before, we'll just come back to that, and let's try and simulate this thing. Yeah. So now what we want to actually calculate here is, so you can see here, we want to calculate the resistance. So what I'll do is I'll say add trace, and here we will have V test divided by, you can see here, I of V test, current because of V test, and then say OK. So you should see here that in the mid-band range, I'll just remove this. So this is actually your value of the resistance. It is saying 84 dB, but our value of resistance is not in dB. So I'll just change this to linear, and you can see that now this is the value of my input resistance. And if you want to like see how much is this value, then you can move this cursor in the middle part here like this, and you can see it is around 16.66 kilo ohms. So let's see whether our calculated value was in that range or not. Okay. Yeah, very good. Our value was in the same range, 16.66 kilo ohms. Okay. So now we were under the impression till date that my Ri does not change with frequency. My input impedance does not change with frequency. So that is a myth now, because you can say that when the frequency is very low, Ri is very high. Only in the midband range, the frequency is the resistance is constant, and at high frequency also the input resistance changes, and even at low frequency the input resistance is going to change. So now if I ask you a question in the Viva that what happens to the input resistance at low frequency in a CS amplifier, so your answer is now ready. You can see by using this graph itself that as frequency reduces, the resistance is going to increase. Okay, so you can do that provided you have seen this in the lab. So now you all will plot this. Come on, do it. So here you will make this to linear scale, then it will show you in kilo ohms. Otherwise it will show you in dBs only. Okay, good, very good. Now we should also observe whether this spice error log, yes, see our spice error log is still running. Okay, so why it is running now? Because We have, instead of a dot tran command, we have gone for a dot AC command. So though it is plotting resistance for you, in the background it has got the values of the V out and on. So it can still show you the values. It may not show you the graph, but it will definitely show you the value. So I'll add some planes here because one picture is worth a million explanations. So I'll add here V out, and this scale I'll change it to dB. So this is my V out. Can you see here? Yes, all of you, can you understand this now? So you can see whenever the gain is constant, the resistance is also constant. So can you show me this graph quickly? Gain as well as Ri. Okay, Soham, correct. Very good. Yes, Soham, see here. What is small thing change you have to do here is that you go here, right click on this and convert it to dBs. The reason for that is I want to see gain in dBs, but I want to see resistance in ohms. So I can change if the two waveforms are plotted in two different traces, then you can change their units. But if they are plotted in the same trace, then either you will be able to see Ri or you will be able to see gain. So that's the reason why LT Spice gives you a functionality for multiple traces. Did you get it?
Yes.
So this is what we mean by frequency response of the transistor. Now see here in the class, what I'll do is I'll just derive the formula for what is the lower cutoff frequency, what is the formula for the higher cutoff frequency, and I'll tell you. That's it. But you have already observed that now. So we have now done with the calculation of input resistance. Tanvi, your output is absolutely correct. Just keep the grid on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now very simple. Again, what I'll do is I'll just save this file. Save as, instead of Ri, I'll save it as now RO. And which all obviously means that now I want to calculate RO also. So what should I do? So when you are calculating RO, we always make V in 0, right? We make V in 0. So I'll remove that V test from here and I'll make V in 0. And on the output side, we'll apply a test voltage. I'll just apply a test voltage here. And obviously RO will be RL parallel to something, but we don't know that. as of now. And when we have a simulator, we should not apply so much brains. Otherwise, what is the use of using the simulator? So here we have 1, 0, okay, and the value here is 0. There is no value here, and I'll call this as now. So remove this V out because you cannot give two different names to the same node. Okay, so we will write here retest. Here also we will write retest. The name of this is retest. So now you can again simulate this thing, and you can see that the value here has been plotted. But what I'll do is I'll tell you from the start how to do this. I'll add trace. So V test divided by I of V test, and you will get this funny plot. So first you get rid of this dotted line, which is the phase. Don't plot phase. But now I know that my output resistance has to be in ohms. I can't understand what is this 72 dB. So no problem. You can click on the y-axis and make the scale linear. Immediately you can see here this dB has changed to K, which means it's in ohms. And now we have got the proper plot. Now let's try and measure this. So the central value is around 3.33 kilo ohms. So let's check whether our calculation was giving us the same thing or not. Yes, absolutely perfect. But through this calculation, you should note one thing. This Ri and Ro that you have calculated, they are the input and output resistances in the mid-band range. Ri and Ro concept is valid only in the mid-band range. Otherwise, Ri and Ro also change with frequency. So generally what happens is that if you connect a very large, if you connect a load and if you try to, pass a very high frequency signal to it, through it, that speaker acts like a short circuit. Okay, so though you are applying a signal which is at high frequency, but the impedance offered by that speaker becomes zero, and in a way it's bypassing everything to ground, and that is the reason why you cannot hear those frequencies. So sometimes we want that because generally the noise is there in the high frequency range, and we don't want noise to come out at the speaker. We want it to go away, and that's the reason why these kind of responses would be very good. So anyways, let me do it this way. And now does it calculate? You can again see gain 3 dB value and bandwidth has failed. Why? Because now you made input 0. Na? When you are making input 0, output is obviously going to be 0. So that's the reason why all this calculation failed in spite of using .ac command. In spite of using .ac command. So we have seen the high frequency and the low frequency response of the single stage CS amplifier. Okay, Rohan, correct, very good. So let's take like a 5 minutes break, okay, and resume back at 2:16. In the meantime, I'm just leaving it this way, okay, and when we come back, we'll see the what happens when you cascade more than one stage. Like what is the effect of cascading? That is a multi-staging. What happens with multi-staging? Joe's perfect, good. Rohan, good, very good. So I'm happy with your outputs. The way you are doing it is absolutely amazing. So just take a small break for 5 minutes. Okay, so let us start. So this was all about, single stage kind of amplifiers. Now I want more gain, because this amplifier is not giving me a good gain. It is just doubling the voltage. 50 millivolts is becoming 100 millivolts. That's it. So what if I want more gain out of this amplifier? Then what I should do? So what I do is I cascade this thing with another amplifier. So I use two CS amplifiers. I use two of them, and then I go for the, what do you call, the analysis. So I'll just close this and I'll just open something else. So let me open CS. So I'm just opening this thing and I'm just saving it as with the today's name. So I'm writing here CS multi-stage amplifier. I'm just saving it on the desktop so things will be easy. And what you can see out of this is, I'll just move it here. So all other specifications are the same, absolutely no change in that. You can see that very well. I'm just naming this. So let's put a nice heading there, and all other things are pretty much the same. So what you can observe here is, now everything is the same, but there are two additions now. One is the R signal voltage here, and this is basically the resistance of the source, and this is some stray resistance in between. So this is your first stage, this is your second stage, and all the values are the same, 0.2, 0.2 and 20. Everything else is the same. There is absolutely no difference. And instead of RL connected now at the output of the first stage, now RL is connected at the output of the last stage. So if you want to like closely see what these two equations are going to be, so it will be like this. So now I am writing two dot measure commands. The first dot measure command is for the output of the first stage, that is the single stage amplifier, and the second dot measure command is for the output of the second stage. Okay, now I want to measure gain of the first stage, so I wrote gain underscore single, because here I have written V out underscore single, that is single stage, and here I have written V out underscore multi, that is nothing but multi-stage. So first let us be on this same page, uh, then we can go ahead. Come on, do this, write like this, and post this circuit in the chat box first. Okay, I'll give you some time to draw this. So what you can do is, I'll just show you how you can go about. I'll just open the previous circuit, okay, CS amplifier. You just save it as something, save it as XYZ. I'm just saving it for now. And then what you will do is just take this here somewhere. All this, just keep it aside. Just take it away for the time being. And you can copy all of this like this and move it here. Okay. So once you do this, all the additional things you will have to remove. So just remove all this. Okay, remove all this, remove this green, remove all these things. And all you need to do is just connect this here, and you may have to put one additional resistance here just to, for this kind of coupling is also called as RC coupling. So this is your V out, and the same thing you can connect here. So now this becomes your V in, this becomes your V out, but this you can rename this to V out underscore single, and here you can rename to V out underscore. And once you do like this, all you can do is just write one extra line here. So you copy this command, you just copy this itself, okay, and replace. So copy this twice and replace every V out underscore V out by V out underscore single in the first case, and in the second case you replace it by V out underscore multi. So have you understood how to copy this thing? So your final circuit should look like this, very clean and neat and tidy. So for your convenience, I am copying the dot measure commands and putting it down in the chat box for you. So this is the first dot measure command, and this is the second dot measure. So explanation we have already seen. Okay, now exactly name the circuit how I have named it. So what is the advantage of multi-staging, and what are the disadvantages? So that we will see through this. And for this also we will calculate AV, we will see the dot tran and everything. So this is my base circuit. When you copy, that time you cannot name both these resistances as R1 and R1. So this is R3, this is R4, because SPICE will not allow two different same name for two different resistances. Okay, so that's why this is in the first stage all the naming are the same. RD I have written RD1, RS I have written as RS1 because they are RD and RS of stage 1. And similarly we have RD and RS of stage 2 also. So accordingly we have named them. Here also you can see CG, initially we had written CGD and CGS. Now I have written CGD1, CGS1. Here I have written CGD2, CGS2. The reason is because we cannot have same name for two different capacitances or resistances, or for that matter we can for any component which is there in the device, in the circuit. So in this, one more thing I wanted to actually show you. That's why I am taking this thing. While doing this, I told you when we wanted to calculate gain, first we had to do DC analysis and find out what is the value of ID, find the value of VGS, find the value of GM, and then we could calculate the values of gain. So that part we did not see. So now we can see that part as well when we look at this particular circuit. So I'm waiting for all of you to post the circuit. So I think you will be taking some time to put this dot measure commands. Yes, put your outputs in the chat box. Put this circuit in the chat box first. Okay, Rohan is the first one to do it. Very good, Rohan. Let me just check it a little bit thoroughly. You can just change this RL1 to early bit, and anyways, it's no big deal, but it's the same. Okay, good. Riddhi, let's check yours. Riddhi, this coupling capacitor is 10 microfarads. Huh? This is 10 microfarads. Everything else is fine. Joes, your this thing, na? See here I can see V underscore out underscore single. Na? Is that so?
Yes, sir.
So what will happen? Na? So when you try to run this dot measure command, na, it will not understand this. So it will give an error. So change this to V out underscore single.
Yes.
Whatever you have written in the measure command, that same term should come here, because you are telling the measure command to measure at that node, but actually that node doesn't exist. It's that way.
Okay, sir.
So to ensure that, there has to be some match. Very good. I think because of Joe's, everybody would have understood that. Okay. I'll wait for another 2 minutes. Now what you can do here is, in the meantime, you can just say run. Okay, and you can say dot DC operating point. Now the moment when if you say dot DC operating point here, na, you will get all the voltages and currents. Okay, so just let me put it here. See this, इधर चुप के बैठा है इधर. So let me get it up. Now if I use a dot OP command with a dot AC command, so this is something really new. If I'll copy this, right click on this, AC, decade, and here you put 1000 mega ohms, 1000 meg. So if I Now run a .op command with a .ac command. You can see, first of all, I want to see my outputs. So I want to see the output of the first stage. So this is Vout of the first stage, and this is Vout of the second stage. Okay. So what you can observe here very nicely is that for a single stage amplifier, the gain is smaller, but the bandwidth is higher. Whereas for a multi-stage amplifier, the gain increases, the gain is high, but the bandwidth is lower. So this is something that we need to observe and find out whether this is true or not. So that's the first thing. Now another thing we want to see here is, after I simulate this, I should see the SPICE error log file. After you see this SPICE error log file, so what is there in this file now? See here, we have all the DC operating points here, and we have all the first three lines are the gain 3 dB points and bandwidth of the first stage, and then we have the single stage. Now let us see our calculations. We had found out that our ID is, what was the value of our ID? 106.5 microamperes or 0.1 milliamperes. Is that true? Let's check here. So ID, you can see here, it is correct. 1.065, 1.07, 10 raised to minus 4 amperes. So ID value is matching. Then next value is of VGS. So VGS was 0.7264. Is it matching? So yes, VGS is also 0.727 because it is 10 raised to minus 1. That is correct. Then we have the value of GM, 653 microamperes, means it should be 6.53 into 10 raised to minus 4. So let's see the value of GM, which is correct, 6.53 into 10 raised to minus 4. Now it is showing this value twice because we have replicated the same circuit twice. So the biasing points are the same for both the .op command with .ac command. By using .op command and .ac command together. So .op gives me DC operating points, .ac gives me AC values. Now there will be a question to you. So see here, I am removing this, If I try to simulate, this command prompt will ask me which you want. So first I will write .op, okay, and I'll get this, I'll close this. So see here, this .op is somewhere here. So I'm getting it here. Okay. Now if I again try to simulate this, it doesn't ask me that command prompt. It doesn't ask me the command prompt again. So how can I put a .ac command when .op already exists? How can I put a .ac command when .op already exists? Now Rohan, you must have faced that problem, correct? Rohan Kole.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
output, you have got you got the bandwidths, you got the gains, but you did not get that current value, right? GM value. Now what you can do there is you can use this copy command. See here, there is a trick. This is the button for copy, and copy this .op here. So now you have two .op commands. Now you have two .op commands. Now on any one you right click and change that .op to .ac. Change that .op to .ac in a regular way. What we do, 1000 megs. So now you are getting .op and .ac command together. Rohan, in your case, you can copy that .ac command and convert that AC to .op. Did you get it?
Yes, sir.
So this is the main thing, and then we will say simulate. So first I want to see the output of the first stage, which is a single stage. So this is actually the same, this was the same. What we got in the previous simulation, this gain is exactly the same. You can measure it and check it out. You can see that the gain is more or less the same. And here, when I add another trace, which is nothing but Vout multi, I get this. And if you try and physically measure the bandwidth, I'm sure half of you will go wrong. So don't rely on the physical measuring of this. Use the dot measure commands, that means C spice error log for all the DC values as well as the AC values like gain, bandwidth and 3 dB points. So now you all will show me circuit graph, and I want to see the spice error log file showing me the values. So you can very well see here, this is the gain of the multi-stage. The gain is 13.863 dB. The gain of single stage is lower, 4.6 dB. Sorry, 7.6 dB. Now, you can see this 13.8 is double of 7.6. Okay. Another thing you have to see here, the bandwidth here is 1.66 megahertz and the bandwidth for a single stage is 1.73 megahertz. So what it means is, when you cascade in the expectation of getting more gain, you actually, your bandwidth gets compromised. Okay, your bandwidth gets compromised. So if you are okay with that, then fine, you can live with the high gain. But if you are not okay with the reduction in bandwidth, then you have to go for another kind of an amplifier which will increase the gain and not reduce the bandwidth. So that is basically this is a CSCS stage. The solution to this problem is a CSCG stage, which is actually not there in your syllabus, but yes, if you ask me a question, ऐसा है क्या कोई जो कम नहीं करता है but same देता है? Answer is yes, that is CSCG stage. Yes, Riddhi, I also want to see the bandwidth and gain calculations. Yes, same with Suham. Now quickly I'll do a dot tran analysis of this. for tran. So here I, instead of give a 50 millivolt signal, 1 kilohertz frequency, and DC offset is 0. And yeah, that's it. So we will again get this. So like I told you, this calculation will fail as expected, because this doesn't work well with the, and I forgot to remove these two commands. Milliseconds, so that I can see two cycles. So first one is the input, the second one is the output of the second stage, and here we have the so you can see these things, that is, you get an increased output. So this is your transient analysis, and the same thing we can use it to calculate RI and RO. So the change here is going to be this would be none, and the value of this would be simply a V test. Here we would write mode as V test. Yes, we can calculate the RI. So what a dot tran would not do here. So we would require a dot AC. So I will change that dot tran to dot AC. Sweep is megs. Now we can plot this thing here. So the output is V out, but we want to plot V test divided by I test. I of V test is here. So you can just change this to linear to see the resistance values. This input impedance is around 20 kilo ohms or close to that. 17.62 kilo ohms. That's the value of Ri. And let's see the value of R0. So the same circuit can be used to calculate the value of R0. So I'll just save it as file save as. Instead of Ri, let's make this as R0. And to calculate R0, what do? We will remove the test from here and connect it on the output side. And the same thing could be connected here. And you can remove this now, Vout multi, because you can't give two names to the same node. So we'll write a V test here. Simulate the same way. And now here you can add a trace and again V test divided by I test, which is now connected on the output side. So this is the plot. And finally, if we make this linear, we'll get this 10.8. So this is the output impedance. That is 3.33 again. So what is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is that you can see your Ri and R0. Your Ri and R0 did not change much when you actually cascaded it. Why? Because R0 is still seen from the output side and Ri is still seen from the input side. So the values are the same, 16.6 and 3.33. So multi-staging does not affect the input and the output impedance. Okay? That is the conclusion of this. So you can do this. I'm going to give you these files, just a minute. So I'm giving you all the 8 files for today. So like, can any one of you confirm whether you have received it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So today we have done an analysis of a single stage as well as a multi-stage amplifier. And there are many circuits in this, but we need to restrict our discussion to MOSFETs a bit, because that's what you are going to take forward later on. So I thought, yes, once you do something higher, these commands and these discussion will be helpful too. So that's it from my side for today.